Let's move to the Northern Territory election. You've just spent a fair bit of time in the Northern Territory. Michael Gunner, he's pitching himself as the man who steers the Northern Territory through the current COVID crisis. He wants to get re-elected on that platform. Do you see that happening?
I think it's going to be a very interesting election, Peter. Obviously, the Country Liberal Party are the underdogs of this election. It was a wipeout last time 4 years ago, but since that time, the Northern Territory's population has declined, the only jurisdiction in the country that's occurred. 11,000 full-time jobs have been lost, and under the Gunner Labor government, debt skyrocketed from $1.8 billion to $8.2 billion, up by $6.4 billion. So the government's been on the nose, and they're under a lot of pressure. So, as you said, what Michael Gunner is trying to do now is say, look, only look at what's happened in the last 4 months. Don't look at what's happened in the last 4 years. Just look at the last 4 months. And I think this will be fascinating to see exactly how voters view the coronavirus response relative to a raft of other issues.
I just want to get your thoughts too, Matt, on the unions want the government to scrap the national backpacker fruit picking program to improve working conditions and perhaps attract unemployed Australians to regional areas where the backpackers had usually gone. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, it's a ridiculous overreaction there. It would threaten our nation's food supplies. The reality is that all of the fruit and veggies that end up in your supermarkets have to come a long way from our nation's farms. Some people, Labor Party, might just think that avocados magically turn up on their toast already smashed, but they actually take a lot of hard work to get that far. And the problem has been for decades now, it's not a new thing, that Australians are increasingly not taking those kinds of jobs. So if we want to have smashed avocado on our toast, we do need to and rely on often a foreign workforce to do those jobs. Now, in saying that, I think given the international restrictions on travel we see, given rising unemployment, we should sensibly seek to try and encourage Australians to take up these jobs, especially young Australians, near where there are many farms. I've long been an advocate for that. But the idea that we just scrap the whole system and go to 100% Australian workforce, as I say, would threaten our food supply.
Well, the unions say that the backpackers are underpaid. I mean, is that the case?
There has certainly been well-documented instances of abuse. The government had launched a Department of Immigration study on that, where a lot of the evidence came forward on that, and there has been action taken against those abusing the system. There's also now an agricultural workforce inquiry being headed up by John Azouris, a long-term expert in this area. And so we are taking action in those areas. We need to enforce the rules, and any people doing the wrong thing need to pay the proper penalty. I've
just got to ask you before we go, and it is on a lighter note, Senator, the AFL Grand Final, I was just talking to Mark Kenny about that. He's got his hand up for Adelaide this morning. It's on the Advertiser. They're making a pitch for it. Perth has got a pitch for it. Queensland and the Gabba's got a pitch for it. Where should it go?
Look, I don't know. I find all this stuff a little uninspiring or not that important. We've got bigger issues to deal with right now, and I don't think politicians grandstanding on this adds much value. Of course, as a Queenslander, I'd love to come through Queensland, but really, we've got bigger things to worry about in this world.